Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your man, King A.D.S. I'm back with another video, just staying at it and staying diligent to the task and, trying to be a little bit more consistent. And, I like to just get up here and reach out to you and drop some energy. You know what I mean? As some people say, raising a vibration any way I can, just trying to make a contribution. Yesterday was my birthday, August 8th, which is also the prime of what they call the Lion's Gate. And a lot of people talking about manifesting. So I kind of want to touch on a few things, but it kind of all comes around in a full circle, like a swirl. It's all about manifesting in different angles and everything. And but what they say is like this is one of the highest times for that type of energy to be something that can be conductive, something that can be spread, or something that you can, if you're prepared, that you can kind of have on your side. I wouldn't say like use to your advantage, but I would say that in tandem it kind of works together in your favor, kind of thing. And some of that stuff manifesting, let's just talk about some of those things, like how you see people say you can speak things into reality, or if you have your thoughts set on something so much it's almost like you could think it into reality, things like that. And I would like to share something else about that I've noticed myself in my life over the years, something that's very interesting and very seems to be very true so far, because it's like a pattern, but it's also weird the way it works. So also manifesting, you've heard before, like you get what you need sometimes, but not what you want, but you get what you need, right? Even made a song about it, right? um Things like that. So what I've noticed that was strange is some of the things that would manifest, not just for myself, but for others around me, as if I was being used as a conduit because of something like the junk service, stuff like that. So I would come into some odds and ends and knickknacks and things. But I noticed that the person, or even myself, would come from a very authentic or genuine place, right? A sincere place. And it was from the heart space. Have you ever heard anyone talk about that before? The heart space. Okay, the heart space is interesting because other people scientifically, excuse me, scientifically have said something to, I don't come after me if I'm, I don't have all the details, but something to the nature of current making electromagnetic waves or something to that nature in tandem with your brain or something. But either way it goes, something has taken place, because when a person actually means it, and it can't be something like I want this, I really want this, it has to be like, oh man, I really really need one of these, right? Like whatever it is, like you're actually in serious need of it at that time, and maybe you don't have everything you need in order to do that, right? Like you don't have the resources to get it or something, but like it kind of from your mouth to the ether, right? That's another thing people have said about manifesting, right? But it touches the ether and then finds a conduit, me sometimes, you sometimes, and works through that. So that message or that act, the deed can be done on earth through the vessel of man. That's just crazy stuff, but it seems to be true, as far as I could tell, because yeah, it's happened way too many times and in ways that I could tell stories about. Like there's an old story that I've told it in an old video, but I mean, there was a friend of mine who had a niece, and I found out later so many things, but the story is amazing that this I was like a conduit. Something worked through me to get his niece's give him basically his niece new shoes, these LA gear with the light up stuff and the wheels on the back, the Heelys and stuff. And and it was her size, the same color pattern as shoes she already had, which was weird. And it was this old man at the dump. I was at the dump and I was getting rid of things, And he said, something tells me you're the guy to give this to. Like I said, I think, and I looked up at the sky because I was catching on already. And I said, I think I might be the guy. Yeah, I think you might be right, you know. And sure enough, I knew exactly what was happening. I got a buzz inside of me, especially in the heart space, right? And I called my friend and I said, I think I got your niece's shoes. And he's like, what? And I said, no, it came out funny and, sounded weird, but I was en route to his house. I told him the story. He says, no way, and I said, I'm not even, I'm almost to your pad. I didn't even stop. I just had that feeling so hardcore. Then I learned what happened later, that his sister, like months and months later, his sister told me that the budget for that year had fell short, and she was supposed to get that her brother, the niece, right? The niece has a brother, and he got the Heelys. She was supposed to get him too, but she didn't. And so when his were out, guess who had a brand new pair? That's a trip to me. And then not only that, later on, his sister married a man named Ahmad, which is my name. You know what I mean? That's my, my first name is Ahmad. So it's like that stands out to me, that like it's almost communicating to us if we pay attention, or if you just want to take it that way, whichever way. But I happen to see it that way and think it's strange. And there's been other instances where things manifest, but it seems to come from the heart space. Also, let's touch on the other one that I mentioned in that story, talking about let it be known from your mouth to the ether, right? It touches these patterns, the energy patterns, and carried by scientific, you know, what do you want to call it? Metaphysical. So just trying to say that science and the lore kind of mix and carried by these things that we're just now even starting to understand more in a logical sense that can be measured in certain ways from my understanding, but have always been expressed in that way. So from your mouth, from the universe basically into the vessel, out to the ether to be touched, to make motion and bring something out from nothing. Interesting, right? Manifest something from nothing. From nothing, is it? No, it's all the components of the universe, which bring me to more stuff. Is the universe observing itself through different angles, as I stated in the last video I did, and that's how it makes change. It's ready for more change. How does that work? How will we ever have a grasp of understanding on something that's so primordial or so vast, right? But we are in no less a part of it, right? Which is interesting. And that also, I want to touch on other stuff, not just about manifesting, but it deals with that a little bit in perspective, and get back to, because I said that I was going to talk about the Backrooms movie a little bit, and that was a while ago though, and I know everybody has already done this, but I just figured it kind of relates and ties together in the sense that the company called, Kane Parsons' storyline that he wrote for the lore of the Backrooms, phenomena, was that company Async was an MRI machine company, which had scanned your brain, and who knows how far they had came in that particular niche, in the story, of the lore. But nevertheless, it does scan your brain so we can detect different, developments, changes, charges, so on and so forth, right? But in this situation, it's almost as if the electromagnetic vibration frequency that they made tore the fabric of space-time, or at least distorted it until it flipped it into a gate, right? And the gate is kind of like the space in between space. So it is starting to map out something that's based off of a reality, but just as I stated, as the expressions are made from the universe, is that also its mind in that sense? As people have said, the universe, kind of resembles a brain's construct, right? Its structure and stuff. So are we some of the nodes in the brain, and then we have a brain within a brain within a brain, and even in there. So it's like MRI machine scanning brains. The atmosphere starts, it taps into an atmosphere that scans the the thoughts and reality, which is also a concept, and then starts to form another reality. Is it an alternate reality starting to observe itself even? So those things trip me out about those concepts, and it's manifesting something from nothing, no, not necessarily, but from more concepts, and then starting to grasp a concept. In a sense, is it gaining awareness, which is intelligence, right? And then so it needs its time to, but very interesting stuff. And the actors in the movie Backrooms were awesome. I really liked, the way that they built that set. Everything was so surreal. I really have enjoyed the lore, and how much people have had fun with the Backrooms concept. I dig it. I've had ideas that were similar to stuff like that when I was growing up. And so I can dig a lot of sci-fi stuff, and it's not like other people didn't inspire brains to think in that way too. People, it seems like it's what we do. It's part of our groove, right? Like we kind of go there in the sci-fi way. Besides, what our whole existence is kind of sci-fi, so it's easy to see that we can get into digging stuff like that, from time to time. But yeah, man, I've had ideas similar to, where the fabric of reality kind of rips and it's a bit distorted and things are a bit wacky and you don't know what to expect. And that's kind of like what you deal with there. And I'll now admit the way that I actually saw Backrooms now, because it's circulated, everyone's got their props, everything's good. But also also ties into the other video about decisions too, the human, man. And we got some things to work on. The technology is moving so fast, and man, the maturity of the human, mixed with the intelligence of the human, sometimes can be, it can be a bit mixed match. And so what I believe happened, the only reason I was able to see it, right away, was when it came out, somebody took the liberty of probably using meta glasses. That's probably what they use. They probably put on the special glasses, right? I'll just say that, the special glasses, and, you know, found a way to do stuff, right? And that's pretty much how I was able to enjoy the flick. Um, I'm not, I'm kind of thankful it happened. My timing was flawless for once, I suppose. Sometimes my timing's trash. Sometimes all of our timing's trash. But this time around, I guess my timing was gold. So I was able to enjoy the movie, but I was like, not gonna say anything because I wouldn't want to put anyone or anything on blast that's negative to, people's goals and stuff like that. I do respect things like that. And but I did enjoy it. It was a good movie. I wouldn't mind seeing it in its full glory, in the near future again. But yeah, it was really cool, surreal, familiar yet unfamiliar. I love the description that was given, about trying to explain a dog to something that's never seen a dog and then tell them to draw it. Stuff like that, like a concept that's objectively different, you know what I'm saying? And trying to meet that with objectivity yourself, right? And see something from a different angle and then interpret it a different way, which it is about, is about seeing yourself in a different way, and changing that perspective and realizing that you have the ability to manifest any version of yourself. You have that control over yourself, and you don't give other scenarios that control over you, because that can sometimes be a monster. So you don't want to manifest a monster. You want to manifest your truth and your best self. So that's what I think is genius about it. Deals with a lot of different things. Of course, um, everybody made a lot of cool memes and funny stuff with the Pirate Clark, seen them grooving and stuff like that. That had me cracking up. But yeah, man. But so that's basically it though for this video. I just wanted to get up here, make sure I did a video, and also, touch bases with everybody. I always enjoy doing that, and to share something that I found this time a bit trippy and cool, and has a bit of truth to it too. What's better than that, right? It's like the best stories that we like have a bit of those things all mixed and mingled together. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that today, and I'm gonna get back to chilling, enjoy the rest of the Lionsgate time and the meteor shower. Endless wishes, may all your wishes come true, and may you manifest the best path for yourself and the people around you. I hope they do the same. And man, till the next one, stay great, stay stellar, man. We're the stuff that stars come from, and connected to the universe. We're the universe of children. So let's shine bright like stars that we are. All right, y'all, to the next one. Much love. Peace.